Hello and welcome to today's daily response video. Today I'm joined by Hazel Province. Hi Hazel.
Zara, hello.
It's so
Hello
great
from
to
sunny Dorset, I should say.
sunny Dorset. I am in sunny Surrey.
There you go.
Yeah, thank you so much for spending time with us this afternoon. Now, Hazel, you've had a big journey through your career. You started out as a violinist. You've been an orchestra manager. From there, you became director of orchestra at the Royal Opera House, moving into director of planning at the Royal Opera House. You've mentored young talent and cultural leaders. And now you've moved more into a portfolio career. And in particular, you're doing a lot in like change facilitation. Hazel, I would love to know during this time where you've been at and where your thinking's been. Could you share some of that with us?
So when you say during this time, you mean where I am now, not where I've been
Yeah.
for the last 25 years?
No,
Yeah,
not during the time of career, but in literally like the last 10 weeks.
yeah. Um, yeah, when you asked me this question a couple of days ago, as you know, almost said, I'm not sure that I'm clear enough where my head is to contribute much to this conversation, because I'm not generally somebody who talks about the theory of what I do or the models I use. I'm much more just get on and do it, and I rely very much on intuition and experience to know, how to work really. Particularly, there's so much noise at the moment. I mean, where are we? What date are we today? 27th of May. We heard from Dominic Cummings yesterday or the day before. There's a lot of noise out there at the moment about recovery and people's response, and particularly our sector, our recovery. And then I started to think, crikey, maybe because of the noise at the moment, and because of what's going on in leadership around us, leadership of our country, of the world, I sort of feel quite moved to talk about the importance of values. I've been thinking a lot lately about, well, who do I trust? Why do I trust those people? Who are the people I'm drawn to believe and drawn to want to hang out with and work with and build relationships with? So I've been thinking a lot about values and values in personal life, what that means. Certainly for me, I'm quite clear what it means as a leader, to be a values-based leader, a values-led leader, and what that means for organizations at the moment, as certainly in our sector, we're thinking about recovery. So
Yeah.
that's what I've been thinking about.
Okay. I'd love to. Could you take us through that thinking, maybe starting with the personal values and
Yeah.
then.
It's always good to talk about yourself, isn't it? So you've summarized my own story, which is
Yeah.
great. And I have to say, sitting here right now in the glorious southwest of England, having been for a wonderful swim in the sea this morning, I feel very blessed for the kind of portfolio lifestyle I have. And as you said, Zara, until 18 months ago, I had a very impressive job title, kind of very stable income. Um, Arguably, my next job should have been a CEO of some sort. That's the sort of path I was on. And really, there's no reason to change course at all. But I was very aware that something wasn't sitting quite right for me where I was. I couldn't really find the career path. Nothing felt quite right. And today isn't really for me to sort of give an in-depth analysis of what was missing and why it was missing. But there was a light bulb
Yeah.
moment. And I realized that I kind of needed to stop looking in the places I was looking to find that feeling of contentment and satisfaction and self-worth. And that I should just focus on what I knew was important to me and go and follow my instinct, be brave, take some risks. And I
Mhm.
made this big change, as you said. And, I left my job. I mean, literally in the space of days, Zara, I left my job. We sold our house. We left the city. We left London, where we'd been. And what I was looking for was time with my family, time with my friends, my husband, just time to be kind,
Mhm.
more time to spend with people, really getting to know people, and kindness, really. We have a much more humble lifestyle now. We don't have stuff. Fresh air is important. The environment is important. And I'm doing a lot more sort of pro bono kind of work where I really feel that I'm making a difference. It's not about how much money can I earn. It's about where I feel I can make the difference. And I have to say, I feel like I'm being the best I can be,
Mm-hmm.
which is something I haven't. Maybe 2 years ago, I couldn't have said that.
Mm-hmm. And do you feel like your value building and your setting during that time has really helped you? It's a huge transition.
Yeah.
And do you feel like it's, change is possible? And do you feel like that has supported you in that journey of change, that big change this year or in the last?
As in having a clear sense of values.
Yeah.
Absolutely fundamental. Yeah, as in the sort of management and leadership roles I've had, and I've matured out of this now, but there was certainly a time where you think you have a style, and it's about how you behave and how you talk and the decisions you make, and maybe you shouldn't change that style because it might signal instability, or people might not have so much confidence in you because you're all over the place. But there was a moment when I realized, you know what, you can change your language, you can change your style, you can change your technique, but still be really true to who you are, still go to bed and have a good night's sleep,
Yeah.
knowing who you are. And I think that was part of maturing as a leader, if you like, as a human being. But yeah, very much now I felt I'd be able to make this big change in my own life because I'm absolutely sure of who I am and what's important to me.
Mm. And could you speak a little bit about how the underpinning of values applies within that leadership context, within organizational context?
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to separate the two very slightly, but you're absolutely right. They merge. And talking about values-based leadership is a session in itself. We could have 3 hours and talk about that. But I suppose part of what it is, it's just, why do we sometimes have this stereotypical view as to what a leader is supposed to look like? That red character. There's a book at the moment called Dealing with Idiots. I should have remember who wrote it, but they color code people. You're either red, blue, green, or yellow, or some combination of the two. The leaders are red, this sort of vocal, visible, almost aggressive champion of the business might be your stereotypical view of what a leader looks like. But then you think about, well, why do we all love Jacinda Ardern, the New Zealand Prime Minister? Let's just think about that for a minute. So today's not really a sort of a lecture on what the right values are, but I would encourage everybody to work out what your values are. And there's different ways you can do that. I mean, you can go online and find a very quick and easy tool. You start with 200 words, work out which ones resonate with you, and gradually refine those down till you've got kind of four words that you think, actually, I could put those words in any sentence and feel that it describes who I am. Try that out on people who know and love you. Describe yourself using those value descriptions and see whether people recognize you or not. Or another way, something I think about quite a lot, and I'd imagine there's a lot of people listening to this who have been something else. I used to be a violinist, and now I'm doing what I do. There's a lot of values and qualities that stem from my earlier life. So as a violinist, I'll just think of a few. It's dedication, it's hard work, it's resilience, it's curiosity, it's that constant strive to be better, to be the best you can, for self-improvement. It's never good enough. You're always practicing, trying to improve. You take risks. Every time you go out on stage, crikey, you're putting yourself under the spotlight, taking a risk. But you also have to listen and collaborate with musicians around you. It's some of the best team players on the planet are orchestral musicians. As a violinist, you have to know when to get out of the way and let someone else have the solo line, for example. When I look back at what the qualities were in my earlier formative years, and I think, well, how much they resonate now with who I am now, and so that they're different ideas as to how you might just be clear on what your values. I mean, everyone has values, but just taking time to think about what they are.
Yeah.
Which is some thoughts about values in a leader. I think what's important is to be really sure of what you stand for. Be sure of what your values are. Know yourself. You be true to yourself. Show integrity. Is one thing. Really, that's very important. Stand by them. Don't be ashamed of them. Everything you do should be underpinned by those values. The importance of building relationships. Looking after people, empathy, generosity, collaboration. Always look to bring out the best in people. That's sort of values-led leadership. I think it's important to make time, space for critical reflection, for your own learning. Leadership isn't just about doing, it's about thinking and learning as well. And then, we move on to think about organization. It's about, don't underestimate the importance of role modeling. As a leader, you are a role model. People look to you. The leader has the greatest influence, I think, on the culture of an organization. And always be aware of that. So if you look at the organization and you think, well, there's something wrong with the culture here, well, hang on a minute, let's look at yourself first of all. And are you might believe that you have really strong values and clear values, but are you role modeling them? Are you standing by them?
Yeah,
it's just a flavor.
Moving the values into practice, and I hear that from you there around, if you have already, as an organization, if you have already got your set of values, such a useful time to go back to them and go, are we actually living and breathing these?
Yes. And we can talk about that a little bit. My thoughts, if you think about where we are right now, as I say, the 27th of May, there's not much we can be sure of. As an organization, we can probably be sure of our mission and we can probably be sure of our values, but there's not much else. We don't know what the long-term impact of the virus is going to be on public life. We don't know what our income streams are going to be. We don't know which of our peers and partners are going to survive and which aren't, but we do know ourselves. We know our mission, we know our values. And again, looking at what's going on at the moment, it feels like panic is starting to set in. People have started shouting. I fear that souls are being sold to the devil in order to bring the money in. I'm not here to make a political statement, but you know what I mean. And again, how I'm drawn to those who are really wearing their values on the sleeve and living their values. So it's again, be very clear as an organization what you stand for, what your values are. Take some time now for that self-reflection. Exactly as you've just said, Zara, are we living our values? Are we going to be true to our values through this? It's kind of if I'm asking questions of an organization, what is your civic or your community responsibility? Don't lose sight of the value of the lives that you're here to serve, the lives that you're here to enrich or to improve. Really important. It's Richard's question, what does society need from us now? Really take the chance now to, as I say, self-reflection, but to engage with your communities. Are we really in tune with the public mood, with what we're doing and what we're saying? What else does it mean to be a values-led organisation? Something about organisational justice, and this is really resonating at the moment. Again, I won't go down too much a tangent, but really make sure that the same rules apply to the top executives as they do for the rest of staff. That's a values-led organisation. Do we really mean what we say? Is equality really at the heart of our organisation? We're seeing a lot of injustice and inequality as this virus is impacting on public life.
And it requires the ability to look deeply and to reevaluate deeply, and the bravery to change it. If you do feel actually that a value needs to change.
Possibly.
Freedom
of expression is another one, very, very topical at the moment. Do all employees feel able to speak up and willingly contribute and exchange ideas? As we're planning recovery, we might describe ourselves as an inclusive, collaborative organisation, but really, freedom of expression, does everybody really feel that they can stand up now and say what they think and contribute? Ethical decision making is another important one here and now. You know, the choices we're making now, are they driven by our values, or are they driven by expediency or whatever? I
Hazel.
could go on, but I think it's a really important time to be thinking about values. And so I just think, you know, my invitation to everybody is to take this time to reflect a bit, be really clear on what your values are, and question whether you really are, as an individual, as a leader, as an organization, are you living by your values? Look out there. Who are the role models? Who are the good role models at the moment, and why do you admire those people?
Yeah. Hazel, you have given us a plethora of food for thought. And I just love that you are such a role model for big change and all the positives that can come from that. It's amazing. Thank you for being with us this afternoon.
Total pleasure. Thanks, Sarah.
Thank you.